For this video, I will cover the comparison of fertility rates of different countries to the GDP per capita. Looking at the data, it would show that poor countries tend to have higher fertility rates. Most women, when the GDP per capita is below $1,000 per year, they tend to have more than 3 children per family. However, in countries with GDP per capita of $10,000 or more US, the number of children usually doesn't exceed 2 per family. Countries, as time moves on, that become richer, such as the United States, experience declining birth rates. This trend is also represented on an individual level. For example, poor families have more kids than richer families in the same country. The average family in sub-Saharan Africa is about 4.5 to 5 children per family, with a GDP per capita of $1,500. This is compared to the world average of 2.5 children. Countries such as those in Asia and Latin America have been experiencing declining birth rates due to an increase in economic activity. They still do not compare to North American or European countries in average national GDP, but the increase has sparked lower birth rates. Africa, on the other hand, has been experiencing economic growth but has not seen a decrease in births. This is because even with economic growth, the education rate does not match the rise in an economy. Educated women tend to have less children than those who are not. This could be a reason for the slow decrease in birth rates. Other reasons that poor countries have more children include time away from work. As in watching kids, this comes at less of a cost to them than it does for higher income families. Education costs a significant amount more in richer countries, making it more costly to have another child. Mortality rate in higher income countries is less because poor countries' children die due to illness or lack of basic essentials, so more children results in a greater survival rate. Because of these factors, the number of women since 1965 for richer countries has a decreasing trend from an average 5 per house to less than 2 kids per family. While this is happening, poorer countries have little to no change. Some factors do, however, cause fluctuations due to birth control, government control of population, or global or country tragedy. Birth control is prominent in China. For example, China does have a high national GDP with moderate to low GDP per capita. The government placed a policy that limited the number of children to 2, but in 1979 it was changed to 1 child. This was to reduce the size of China's overall population. However, in some countries, they are doing the exact opposite. For instance, in Iran has moved its 2-child policy and is now encouraging more children to increase the population. The new policy will pay for each child until the age of 18. This also stimulates spending, investment, and higher education, which will boost the economy. An example of tragedy is the Great Depression. In the United States during the Great Depression, they saw a dramatic decrease in the number of children being born. This contradicts the fact that lower income families have more children. The same trend also occurred during the Great Recession. This, however, is met with a slight increase in steady amount of births. On a world scale, the global birth rate has been on a downward sloping plane since the early 2000s and is negatively correlated to the growing GDP and GDP per capita. This supports and suggests a correlation between countries' fertility rate decreasing as income increases.